Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different that's been requested, frankly, for a couple of years now. And that is, I'm going to go step by step and show you everything that goes into making my YouTube videos. There's a heck of a lot more involved than just turning on a camera and hitting a record button. So hopefully you enjoy finding out what exactly is involved in the process. So you ready? Let's get into this. The first thing I have to do, obviously, is figure out a topic for the video. On this channel, it could be a lot of different things. For instance, it could be an unboxing or review, it could be a recipe video, or it could even be a how-to. In this particular case, I just happen to be doing an unboxing video for the new Ninja Crispy microwave. So we're going to be using this for the subject of this video too. In order to select this to review, it's not just as simple as just picking out a thing and going. You got to do a little bit of research on stuff like this to find out if, number one, it's something that people are going to want to watch. And number two, I have to do some projections to figure out if it's going to get enough viewership to avoid losing money. Remember, there's very, very few things on my channel that are sponsored, so I've got to be extra careful. So for this Ninja microwave, I headed into my comment section on other videos just to find out exactly how many people are actually asking for it. If it's got some buzz there with a lot of people asking me specifically to review it, then I know it's probably going to have some interest with my audience. Doesn't necessarily mean that the video is going to do well though. Next, I go onto YouTube and I search for this thing to find out how many other people have already made videos for it, how well those videos have performed, and how large the audience is from the creators that made those videos as well. This being a brand new product is going to sort of complicate that a little bit because there's not really a whole lot to go on since there's not much content up for it yet. In addition to YouTube, I go into something called Google Trends. And when you go there, you can fill out some keywords and you can find out exactly how much interest there is in a topic as far as Google searches go. Finally, I have to look at the total price of the product, including the shipping and tax, and then I got to do some calculation to figure out how many views I need on that video for it to break even. This came in just under $500 all in. And if you look at the ad revenue on our YouTube channel, I am making about a half a penny per view. All things being equal, if I'm pulling in half a penny per view, that means I need 100,000 views to generate $500 in ad revenue. Some of our videos do a little bit better than that and some do a little bit worse, but that's definitely right where the channel average is. Now those numbers can vary quite a bit. It depends on a few different things. Maybe it's a brand new product and Ninja Kitchen's putting a whole bunch of ad revenue behind it. Also, that can vary pretty wildly depending on the season. If we're talking about the holiday shopping season, that could get upwards of a penny per view. And if we're just after the new year, those numbers can dip way down also. In any case, YouTube's percentages can vary pretty wildly depending on the niche of the channel that the videos are on, and also the topic of a particular video as well. In addition to the ad revenue, there's always those affiliate links that I'm always sticking down in the description of the videos and telling you guys about as well. And if somebody buys something through one of those, then I can generate an additional 3 to 5%. Depending on what the product is. So a purchase through one of those could generate anywhere between $4 and $12 or $13 or something like that. So definitely you can see that if you're not really careful, it's super easy to lose money on this stuff. On the surface, that makes it sound like it would be darn near impossible to make any money on YouTube. And for the vast majority of content creators, that's exactly the case. The percentage of YouTubers that actually make a full-time income is really small. In fact, it's right around 0.5%. What? In the case of our subject microwave right here, 100,000 views on my channel is going to take a little while to get to. But the good thing is that I try to be really careful with what I'm reviewing and I try to pick products that I kind of think are going to do better. And if you couple that with the fact that I got about 700 videos up on the channel, you can see how all of those working together are going to eventually start building some momentum. It's inevitable that a lot of videos are just gonna fail, but I got so much content up that I can compensate for it at the end of the day. Testing for that is quite a bit more work though, so testing for that is quite a bit more involved though. So what we're gonna do is testing for that is a lot more involved though, so we're going to be playing with that for a couple of weeks. And when we come out with a product review video, we'll be going into that in a lot more detail. Okay, from there, we move on to the actual recording of the video. I do all my recording with this Sony ZV-1 camera with a wide angle lens attached to it. And what most people don't realize is that all my shots are on this same camera. If you see multiple angles, then you know it's just me stopping the video, repositioning the camera, getting my shots, moving it again, and so on and so forth. If you see different zoom levels, then it's usually 2 different clips that I've cut out in my video editing software. And most of those zoom changes are just there to mask the beginning and end of different clips. In addition to my Sony ZV-1 camera, I have a whole bunch of lighting. I got a face light right in front of me, a key light right next to it, a fill light coming in from the back, and I've got an additional light that's for lighting up the cooktop down here. I've got all these lights set up so I can control them with my Amazon Alexa. Alexa, turn off stage light 1.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off stage light 3.
Okay.
Pretty cool, huh? Keeps me from having to get up on a ladder. In order to eliminate as much echo as I can in here, I've got acoustic panels up on the ceiling, all the way to the back, and I also have one over the door, and a couple on the walls as well. Also, I got a lot of control over my lighting so I can kind of create whatever type of mood I want. Big difference, huh? For live streaming, I have a pretty slick setup. I've got a desktop computer running OBS Studio, and that just handles scene changes and stuff like that. I've got an ATEM Mini camera switcher with 8 cameras attached to it. And I've got a Stream Deck set up next to me for quicker camera switching and sound effects and stuff like that. I also have a laptop in here that I use to respond to chats. As far as the cameras go, I got that main camera in front of me. Got one just above the island, another one back over the sink, 2 over the cooktop. There's one looking down this way. And then we have one looking down this way. And I also have a camera that's coming in from the back and above. Typically, total recording for one of my videos takes about 2.5 hours, but for this one, we're at 3.5 hours right now. But that's just because I'm actually filming 2 videos at the same time. I've got the unboxing video for this, and I'm also doing the how I make my YouTube videos at the same time. Once I got all my footage recorded, it's time to take that inside and start editing. I edit with a program called DaVinci Resolve. And when using that, I just import all my video clips, put them all in order, and then it's just a matter of editing through everything and cutting out all the stuff that I don't want. Typically, I start with about 2.5 hours of footage, and that gets pushed all the way down to someplace between 15 and 20 minutes. Most of that is me just umming and ahhing or repeating myself over and over again because I can't get the sentence out of my mouth properly. No different really than what I'm doing right now. Once I have a basic timeline done, then it's time to start adding in music, sound effects, visual effects, whatever. If I got any calls to action, like asking you to subscribe to the channel or something like that, then those would go in at this time too. Once I have all that done, then it's time to use a little equalizer to fix my audio tracks. Finally, when I have all that other stuff done, the last thing I have to do is fix my dialogue track. And that just consists with playing with EQ, eliminating some of the background noise, and so on and so forth. Once all that's done, I can finally save the video. Typically when I edit, we're talking about 4 or 5 hours or so in addition to the time it took me to record my video. So they can range anywhere between 6 and 9 hours to create a video from the beginning to the end. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. The next 2 things are the most critical part of content creation. First, there's creating your thumbnail images. Those are the images that you click on to watch the videos. All by themselves, a bad thumbnail can totally wreck your day. If people don't respond to those, then it's not going to matter what's in the video because they'll never see it. To make those, I use a photo editing app called GIMP. Next, it's time to upload the video. So I put that online through YouTube Studio, fill out a nice description, add affiliate links, look back through the video to figure out where my timestamps are going to be, and then I have to fill in my tags and then do all the other stuff that you see in the video, like putting in the cards that appear at the very top of the screen and putting in the end screens that appear at the very end of the video. The description for the video is really important, but by far the most important thing here is getting the title right. People have different ways of doing titles, but at the end of the day, what you want to do is have a descriptive title that says what the video is about, but you also want to say it in a way that it sounds kind of compelling to see. That's why a lot of people end up with a lot of clickbaity titles, because it's really hard to make stuff compelling and interesting and informative at the same time when you only have a few words to do it. After all that's done and my video is uploaded, I have to schedule it for release. Typically, I have several videos up on the YouTube channel already waiting to publish, and I have all those published dates and times set ahead of schedule. That way, when the day comes, they'll just automatically go public for me. If you happen to be a Phenomenals channel member, then those are the extra videos that you have early access to. From there, all I can really do is cross my fingers and hope for the best. The only other thing to really mention would be brand deals. The absolute vast majority of the content on this channel is just stuff that I bought personally. However, I do get a lot of interest from brands, and a lot of them end up wanting to work with me. If we're talking about how-to videos or recipe videos featuring their products, that's one thing. But when we're talking about review videos, it's a complete different thing. Because there's compensation there, a lot of people are going to feel like that review is not objective because you're going to be trying to make the brand happy because they're giving you stuff or paying you. That's really valid criticism because an awful lot of creators do exactly that. Either that or they have to shy away from the brand deals altogether. For me, I have a little bit different approach. I have a contract that brands have to agree to. And what that contract stipulates is that they have absolutely no control of what I put in the video, and they have to be aware that not everything I say in that video is going to make them happy. In fact, on several occasions, I had brands get really upset with some of the things that I had said. However, I make it really clear that that's the way things have to be if we're doing review content. Not too many brands will agree to that, and it's also the reason why I don't do tons and tons of deals like that. And I have done deals in the past where brands, for some reason, didn't think I was serious about that, and when they saw the finished product, they wanted things changed. On occasions like that, I just explain to them exactly why I said what I did, mention that most audiences are really going to respect the honesty and possibly still buy their products anyway. And if all else fails, I can offer just to cancel the contract altogether. That would mean a lot of work down the drain, but the alternative to me is a lot worse, which would be loss of integrity. And I'll tell you what, those conversations aren't fun. As you can see, there's a lot more involved in making a YouTube video than you might expect. Granted, a lot of that work really depends on the content creator. Some people are OCD like me and put tons of extra work in that they probably really don't need to. And then you got a whole nother group of people that just turn the camera on and go. Hey, if it works, more power to them. Hey, Joe's Phenomenal now has channel memberships. For most people, you can see a join button down below the video window that you can click and see what type of perks I'm offering. If you're using an iOS device, you might not be able to see it, and if that's the case, I do have a link down in the description of the video as well. If you like this video and you're interested to find out how I built this YouTube studio, I do have a playlist right here that's got all of my construction videos in it. Yes, it's a little bit off topic, but to me, they're pretty cool and fun to watch. Well, that's it for now. I hope to see you back again really soon. And until that time, I'm Joe, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.